All right, it is time to take the critical juncture. This is question 127 in your notes. So, some information about the critical juncture. It is a knowledge check partway through the unit. Usually, you have learned all the information, but for a couple units, not this one, there might be questions that you haven't learned yet that are a preview of the next chapter or that will appear on the post test. For our light waves unit, you've learned all the information. You are not to use your notes or to Google anything or use Amplify. This is to see what you have learned. So, I want to talk about some test taking strategies for this. I want you to treat all four options in the multiple choice as individual true false questions. So, you look at A, B, C, and D, and on each of these, ask yourself, is it true or false? Eliminate the options you know that are for sure false and pick the option that you think is most true. And then this bottom part is important. Even if you find which option you think is correct, look at the other options and still ask yourself if they are true or false in order to eliminate them for sure and to know that your choice is correct. So let's say you find like question A or option A, and you're like, okay, that's definitely false. And then you go on to B, and you're like, oh, B is true. I'm going to select B. Make sure you still look at C and D, because after a lifetime of taking tests, I can tell you for a fact there are so many times where I think B is the answer, and then I come across C or D, and I'm like, wait a second, I think C is also true. Well, it can't be both of them. And so I look back and I realize like maybe I misread something on question C or I misinterpreted something. So make sure you look at all four answers before officially deciding on which one is the correct answer. All right, retakes for the critical juncture. There's an Edpuzzle playlist for all of the questions. So 1 through 12. I go through each question and explain why each option, A, B, C, or D, is true or false. You must do the Edpuzzle video for each question you miss, but you don't need to do the videos for the ones that you got right. After watching the videos, retake the critical juncture until you get a 12 out of 12. This will be for a grade, and after a week of not having a 12 out of 12, it will count as a missing assignment, and your name will go on the board. In this case, just for the light waves unit, they've been testing out a few new questions, so there's a small chance that the Edpuzzle video might not match up with the question you had, just because they're testing out some new questions. We didn't realize this until we had already assigned it, and a lot of people had done it. All right, so a couple more information about the critical juncture retakes. If you do not get a 12 out of 12, you come up to see me or Miss Rowland. We write down which questions you missed, and then we delete your attempt. That way you can take it again. You have to redo the whole thing, not just the questions you missed. So, if not completed in a week, it goes in as a 0 out of 12 and a missing assignment. This is because we have to delete your attempt in order to retake it. Even if you got an 11 out of 12 on the first time, your attempt was deleted, so we can no longer see your score. It will go in as a 0 if you don't retake it. Basically, the critical juncture should be all or nothing. You either get a 12 out of 12 or you get a 0 out of 12. I don't really feel bad about this because of the critical juncture playlists. I literally tell you the answer to each and every question. There should be no reason that you can't get a 12 out of 12. Keep doing it, keep watching the videos. If you are struggling to get a 12 out of 12, come in and see us and we will help you get on track.